Edward Harrison Leslie, born April 21, 1957, is an American retired professional wrestler, best known for his work in the World Wrestling Federation WWF under the ring name Brutus the Barber Beefcake. He later worked for World Championship Wrestling WCW under a variety of names. Leslie held 9 titles throughout his career, and is a former WWF World Tag Team Champion with Greg Valentine. He also competed for major singles titles on pay-per-view and television, headlining the Starrcade 1994, in a match against then WCW World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan, as well challenging then Intercontinental Champion the Honky Tonk Man at WrestleMania 4. Leslie was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2019 by Hulk Hogan. Professional wrestling career. Early career 1977-1984. Leslie began his career at the site of Terry Bollea in 1977. At the time, the two were billed as brothers. Leslie was at Boulder when Bollea wrestled as Terry Boulder, and Dizzy Hogan when Bollea became Hulk Hogan. In later years, this created confusion among fans, many of whom actually believed that Leslie and Bollea were real-life brothers. Leslie briefly wrestled in Bill Watts' Mid-South Territory and sporadically between 1980 and 1982 in the World Wrestling Federation WWF. In a 2000 shoot interview, he recalled his first match was a tag match with Ron Slinker, against Ox Baker and Eric the Red. World Wrestling Federation 1984-1993. The Dream Team 1984-1987. Main article: The Dream Team. Leslie rejoined the WWF as a heel named Brutus Beefcake in late 1984, managed by luscious Johnny Valiant. Introduced in a vignette that portrayed him as a male stripper, Beefcake was a vain character who dressed in outlandish outfits. As a singles wrestler, he feuded with David Sammartino, whom he fought to a double DQ at the inaugural WrestleMania at Madison Square Garden, and WWF World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan. Hogan sought revenge on Beefcake after he and Valiant injured Hogan's prot, Hillbilly Jim, at a show in San Diego in February 1985. Hillbilly had appeared in Hogan's corner for a match between Hogan and Beefcake. In the summer of 1985, Beefcake began teaming with Greg the Hammer Valentine. They became known as the Dream Team. They soon began challenging the U.S. Express Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham for the WWF Tag Team Championship. Initially, the U.S. Express successfully met these challenges, but at the August 24 show in the Philadelphia Spectrum, the Dream Team won the title after Beefcake rubbed Valiant's lit cigar into Windham's eye. They defended the belts for 8 months, primarily from a reformed U.S. Express. Dan Spivey replaced the departed Windham in the British Bulldogs. At WrestleMania 2, in Rosemont, Illinois, the Dream Team lost the title to the British Bulldogs. They were unsuccessful in rematches for the title and soon dropped to mid-card status. The Barber 1987-1990. The Dream Team broke up at WrestleMania 3. After defeating the Rougeau brothers at the pay-per-view, the team had an argument and Beefcake was left in the ring while Valentine and Valiant left with Dino Bravo. This provided the impetus for Beefcake to turn face. In the immediate next match on the show, Beefcake helped Roddy Piper to defeat Adrian Adonis, reviving Piper after Adonis had rendered him unconscious. Per match stipulations, Adonis would have his head shaved. Beefcake undertook this task, and earned the nickname the Barber. Thereafter, Beefcake started bringing garden shears with the handles taped to resemble barber poles to the ring, and using a sleeper hold, hitherto a speciality of both Piper and Adonis, used heavily by both in their WrestleMania 3 match as his finishing move. After a match, he would strut around the ring, snipping his fingers like scissors to indicate he was about to cut his defeated opponent's hair. As he did using either his shears or an electric razor, he would throw handfuls of hair into the air for the amusement of his fans. After coming out on top of a feud with former partner Valentine and ex-manager Valiant, Beefcake feuded with Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion the Honky Tonk Man. Beefcake vowed to not only win the title, but put Honky to sleep and cut his duck's tail. Beefcake never made good on that vow, since Honky got himself disqualified from most of their matches. Wrestling titles generally do not change hands on a disqualification. Honky often had assistance from a mysterious pigtailed and sunglassed blonde named Peggy Sue. WWF Women's Champion Sherry Martel usually played this character during television tapings and PPV events, but at house shows she was Jimmy Hart in drag. Beefcake countered with a woman of his own, Georgina George the Animal Steel, in drag. The feud concluded at WrestleMania 4, where Honky was again disqualified, after interference from Hart. Though Honky escaped with the title in his hair, Beefcake caught Hart towards the end of the match and humiliated him with a partial haircut. Beefcake also feuded with Outlaw Ron Bass in 1988, beginning when Bass attacked him after a match on Superstars of Wrestling, lacerating his head with a spur. As a result, the injured Beefcake missed his scheduled Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship match against the Honky Tonk Man at the first SummerSlam event on August 29. He ultimately defeated Bass in a grudge match. Beefcake then feuded with Randy Savage during 1989. On the Brother Love Show, an interview segment on WWF Superstars of Wrestling, Beefcake called Savage's new manager Sensational Sherry, Scary Sherry, and an angered Savage attacked him and, with the help of Sherry, humiliated him with a haircut. Eventually, the feud became intertwined with one between Hulk Hogan and Zeus based around the movie No Holds Barred. Hogan was simultaneously involved in his own feud with Savage over the WWF World Heavyweight title. During his match against Savage, Beefcake was assaulted by Zeus. At SummerSlam, Hogan and Beefcake with their manager, Miss Elizabeth, teamed to defeat Savage and Zeus. The rivalry resumed when, on December 27, No Holds Barred was shown as part of a pay-per-view special called No Holds Barred the Movie The Match. In the match portion of the show taped 2 weeks earlier in Nashville, Tennessee, Hogan and Beefcake defeated Savage and Zeus in a steel cage match. At WrestleMania 6, Beefcake became the first person to pin Mr. Perfect on PPV. During the spring and summer of 1990, Beefcake was involved in the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship tournament and, along with opponent Dino Bravo, were counted out in the first round. Beefcake was scheduled for a WrestleMania 6 rematch, this time for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship against Mr. Perfect at SummerSlam. Parasailing accident and return 1990-1993. In July 1990, a serious parasailing accident put Leslie out of action. He was helping his parasailer friend prepare for takeoff, when the driver of the boat mistook a cue to take off and pulled the friend's bare feet hard into Leslie's face, crushing his facial skeleton. Over 100 metal plates were needed to repair it, and Leslie's wrestling career was put on hold for almost 2 years. For a short time in early 1991, a masked character played by Leslie appeared on TV. The character would run in during matches and attack various heels, notably Rick Martel, Dino Bravo, and Earthquake. He would run in on their matches, punch them a few times, throw a headbutt and immediately retreat. He never wrestled a match and was never given an official name. Leslie returned as Brutus Beefcake in a special appearance on the April 23, 1991 episode of WWF Primetime Wrestling, and then as a full-time regular in the summer of 1991, hosting an interview segment called The Barbershop. The Rockers split up on The Barbershop when Shawn Michaels superkicked partner Marty Jannetty and threw him through a plate glass window. This turned Michaels heel and began his singles run to stardom. The final Barbershop segment took place in February 1992. Newly turned heel Sid Justice attacked Beefcake and destroyed the set, building heat for his feud with Hulk Hogan. After this, Beefcake disappeared once again. In early 1993, Beefcake once again returned to the WWF, appearing on Monday Night Raw. Beefcake's facial injury was used in an angle with Money Incorporated Ted DiBiase and Irwin R. Schuster. In what was billed as Beefcake's comeback match, he defeated DiBiase on Raw by disqualification when DiBiase and Schuster double-teamed him. Schuster then tried to re-injure Beefcake, hitting him with a steel briefcase. Longtime heel manager and manager of Money Incorporated Jimmy Hart turned face by trying to stop his team from hurting Beefcake, and Hulk Hogan returned to the WWF after a one-year hiatus. Hogan and Beefcake teamed for the first time since December 1989, as the Megamaniacs, with Hart as their manager. The Megamaniacs, with Beefcake wearing a protective face mask, challenged Money Inc. for the Tag Team Championship at WrestleMania 9. And, though gaining some revenge, lost via disqualification. WrestleMania 9 was Leslie's final wrestling appearance on WWF television, although he remained active on the house show circuit. He teamed with Hogan in multiple matches against Money Incorporated in June 1993, winning by disqualification. He also defeated Masa Saito on May 3 in Fukuoka, Japan. Following a final tour of Europe from July 9 to August 6, defeating Terry Taylor in 8 straight matches, Leslie left the WWF. World Championship Wrestling 1994-1996, 1998-1999. 3 Faces of Fear in various gimmicks 1994-1997. In 1994, Leslie debuted in World Championship Wrestling WCW. At first, he only made short appearances with Hulk Hogan, who referred to him as Brother Brody as he did when they were WWF tag team partners in 1989 and 1993. At that year's Halloween Havoc, following Hogan's cage match victory over Ric Flair, Leslie was revealed as the masked man who had attacked Hogan just before his title match with Flair at Clash of the Champions XXVII. Leslie subsequently became the Butcher, and formed the Three Faces of Fear with Kevin Sullivan and Avalanche. The Butcher-Hogan feud culminated in a WCW World Heavyweight title match at Starrcade, which the Butcher lost. The Butcher continued wrestling for some time after the Three Faces of Fear broke up in May 1995, then became amnesic, as the Man with No Name. Leslie rejoined Sullivan in his new stable The Dungeon of Doom, as the Zodiac, a character wearing black and white face paint and only ever saying, yes, no, yes, no. The Dungeon of Doom feuded with Hogan for most of the remainder of 1995. Hogan eventually turned Zodiac against his stablemates by revealing him as a mole. After leaving the Dungeon of Doom, Leslie became the Booty Man, and his gimmick was that of a man infatuated with his own buttocks, shaking them on the way to the ring and during matches. His signature move was a high knee, a hominin of high knee. He was accompanied to the ring by Kimberly Page, who became known as the Booty Babe, and feuded with Diamond Dallas Page at the time, Kimberly's real-life husband. The Booty Man, like Leslie's other WCW gimmicks, did not last long. When the NWO started, he attempted to join by wearing an NWO shirt and presenting a birthday cake to Hollywood Hogan after the latter won the WCW World Heavyweight Championship at WCW Hog Wild, but was instead attacked by Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, and Hogan. Leslie then left WCW for 18 months. The Disciple 1998-1999. In the final segment of the February 23, 1998 edition of Monday Nitro, Leslie returned as the Disciple, the bodyguard of Hollywood Hogan. He was almost unrecognizable at first, with a full beard, sunglasses, and NWO-style biker attire. His true identity was later revealed on screen by Roddy Piper, during his feud with Hogan. The Disciple accompanied Hogan to the ring for his matches, and would often be called on to assist in beating down an opponent, often using his new finishing move, the Apocalypse. After Hogan became the WCW World Heavyweight Champion in April, these beatdowns often included the title belt itself, which the Disciple would drape over his shoulder before performing the Apocalypse, driving its center plate into the victim's face on the way down. The Disciple was abducted by the Warrior during Warrior's feud with Hogan, and was later seen hanging from his feet backstage. After being brainwashed by the Warrior, he turned on Hogan and became the second member of Warrior's One Warrior Nation. After Warrior left WCW, the Disciple's push largely diminished and he spent the remainder of his time in WCW as a jobber. His last WCW PPV match was the World War III Battle Royal on November 22, 1998. In his final televised match, aired on the November 6, 1999 WCW Worldwide, he wore attire much like he did in his early WWF days as Brutus Beefcake, though still under the Disciple ring name as he lost to Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Semi-retirement. In May 2000, Beefcake wrestled for the Extreme Wrestling Federation, in a match against Rex Diamond. After retiring, Leslie became part of the Christian wrestling group, World Impact Wrestling. He also started a wrestling school. He made an appearance at Pro Wrestling Syndicate's debut show in Garfield, New Jersey on June 24, 2007. He has appeared at several Memphis wrestling shows, including the 2007 Ultimate Clash of the Legends. Leslie was a coach on Hulk Hogan's Celebrity Championship Wrestling. On January 26, 2008, Leslie was inducted into the XWF Hall of Fame by Jack Blaze. After it became the LPW Hall of Fame, Blaze honored Beefcake again, on March 26, 2010, in Wheeling, West Virginia. On July 24, 2009, Leslie competed in Celebrity Boxing 10 in Philadelphia, losing in the first round to local competitive eater Bill Simmons. He took part in the Hulkamania Let the Battle Begin tour in late 2009, wrestling across Australia, including Perth and Sydney. On August 28, 2010, Beefcake wrestled for Dynamic Wrestling Alliance, based in Middletown, Ohio. In June 2016, Beefcake wrestled 3 dates in Montana for Big Time Wrestling. On April 6, 2019 Leslie was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2019 by Hulk Hogan. Personal life. Leslie married Kirsten Georgie on July 1, 1987. They divorced in 1991. He has a daughter, Alana, with Barbara McGondal. In February 2004, Leslie caused an anthrax scare at one of Boston's MBTA stations, Downtown Crossing, where he was working at the time. He had left a bag of cocaine in his booth, which a subway rider spotted and assumed to be anthrax. The building was evacuated as a precaution. Leslie checked into a drug rehabilitation facility after admitting that the cocaine was his. On November 7, 2013, Leslie appeared at Toronto City Hall with a pair of shears and a submarine sandwich, claiming Mayor Rob Ford needed an intervention in the wake of a high-profile crack cocaine scandal. Leslie offered to be Ford's angel of mercy, saying maybe if he gets his body right, he will be able to get his mind right. Security escorted him from the property. The day before, fellow wrestler the Iron Sheik also tried to visit Ford and challenge him to an arm wrestling match. Championships and accomplishments. Alabama Wrestling Federation. AWF Tag Team Championship one time with Greg Valentine. Brew City Wrestling. BCW Tag Team Championship one time with Greg Valentine. Championship Wrestling International. CWI Heavyweight Championship one time. Southeastern Championship Wrestling. NWA Southeastern Tag Team Championship 3 times with Ken Lucas 2 and Robert Fuller 1. International Wrestling Association. IWA Television Championship 1 time. Legends Pro Wrestling. XWF/LPW Hall of Fame inductee class 2008-2010. Maple State Wrestling/Slam All-Star Wrestling. MSW/SAW Tag Team Championship 1 time with Shane Williams. New England Wrestling Alliance. NAWA Heavyweight Championship 1 time. Worldwide Wrestling Alliance. WWWA Heavyweight Championship 1 time. World Wrestling Federation/Entertainment WWF/E. WWF Tag Team Championship 1 time with Greg Valentine. WWE Hall of Fame Class of 2019. Pro Wrestling Illustrated. PWI ranked him 75 of the 500 top singles wrestlers in the PWI 500 in 1995. PWI ranked him 173 of the 500 best singles wrestlers of the PWI years in 2003. PWI ranked him 94 of the 100 best tag teams of the PWI years with Greg Valentine in 2003.